As you travel through the quiet city of Pineville, Kentucky, you may look up to see one of Kentucky's man-made marvels, chained rock. Chained rock was inspired by a tall tale created by early settlers, but brought into reality with the idle hands created by the Great Depression. Located at the edge of Pine Mountain State Park, chained rock was witness to the progression of American civilization.
We were the gateway to the West. We had 1/7 of the nation's population walk right through our park here, and people I think often forget that. They forget how the Wild West, wouldn't have had anything without Kentucky. This was the Wild West. This was the first big push off the coast.
Some of these pioneers would settle along the Cumberland River and build a city that would become Pineville. High above the city loomed a large outcropping that to this day seems to threaten to roll down the mountainside, crushing everything in its path.
When the early settlers would come through, they would tell folks that were with them that rock had a chain on the back of it because it would stand out pretty far. And so that's kind of where the beginning of it was, and that was back in the 1800s.
It's not really a boulder, it's actually part of the escarpment. It's part of that steep escarpment of rock sticking out, jutting out at the top, but from the bottom it does look like a loose, singular boulder.
Parents found the tale a wonderful bedtime story to quiet the fears of their children of this menace from above. The story would spread, and tourists traveling through the area would ask to see this chain.
They had passenger trains that would come into depots in Pineville, and with layovers similar to what you would have with an airplane, you'd have people that are wandering around and looking for stuff to do, and one of the common stories was, oh, look at this boulder, at any time it could come tumbling off the mountain.
During the Great Depression that had left so many Kentuckians in the region unemployed, the men of Pineville would gather every day on the courthouse lawn, discussing events around them. One day in 1933, they turned their attention to that rock high above.
A couple of gentlemen by the name of Headley Card, who was also in the Kiwanis Club, and Fred Chappell and Albert McDonald, as they sat around the courthouse square, unemployed during the Depression, and they said, hey, why don't we put an actual chain upon it?
One man remembered an abandoned steam shovel in a local mine, and the mission to chain that rock was underway.
Each one of the chain links were like 7 pounds each, and so you can imagine that thing at 110 foot long would have been pretty heavy. That 3 men, I think, rapidly grew to a group of 50, the Boy Scouts, the Kiwanis Club, and then they actually formed a group that they called the Chain Rock Club to get the chain up there. Back in the 30s, that's just amazing to me that they would have to be able to do those things, and there's no doubt that getting the chain to the mountain was that's remarkable. But to me, the most remarkable thing of the whole thing is getting the chain stretched from one side to the other, and how those men drilled a 4-foot hole into that rock with hammers and chisels to put the rebarb or the stake or whatever it was they put in there to hold that chain.
While this chain is visible from the city, it is even better for tourists to make the hike to the rock, to see the breathtaking vista below, to snap beautiful pictures, and to appreciate what the Chain Club had accomplished.
It is pretty amazing up there once you get up there and you're out on the rock and you see that chain. It's really hard to fathom that they have done that back in the 30s with getting that chain up there. I guess that tells you how tough those Depression days were and how much time they had on their hands if they didn't have jobs and things to do.
People talk about going to Chain Rock. It's something that you remember. You don't confuse it with anywhere else that you've ever been. You don't go to too many places that have this 101-foot long chain draped out across the rocks. It's just kind of an oddity. When you go out to see Chain Rock, that tourist trap may be what actually caught your eye and got you out there, but usually that's not what brings you back for a second, third, fourth, fifth time. What brings you back is that amazing view.
And though they know this chain does not really hold back this rock, the people of Pineville still enjoy the story to this day. Some people of Pineville wonder if it is time to once again revive the legend of this Kentucky monument.
You know, it's been 86 years, not a lot's happened or been said about it, and maybe it's time that our generation adds a little more to that, the folklore, and you know, maybe that rock is going to fall someday.